little fractures in this group, and that little just die down in the pace would have given hope to a few who are starting to struggle. But the pace has gone on again, but they're basically over the top of the climb now, so things are flattening out, an opportunity to just haul yourself back into contention.
Well, who exactly has the resources in terms of multiple teammates who are invested in this, want to keep the pace high and to keep that peloton stretched taut? How big is this peloton ultimately going to be by the time we get to the finish? We've arrived at the top of the climb, or at least at 5k to go point, and almost at the top of the climb. Some points to be awarded here, of course, towards the climbing competition. They won't be thinking too hard about that in here. These riders tapping along on the wheels of others, and is it Healy again that's gone for glory? The EF Education Easy Post squad clearly want to try and make the race as demanding as possible, and Ben Healy knows only one way. Launching the first salvo, and the VF Bardiani CSF Faisane squad have put a rider up towards the front. Could it possibly be their man Tarozzi? I'd be amazed and impressed if it is, with thoughts perhaps of climbing points here. Certainly the Pro Team level squad want to get involved in the fight for honours.
Well, there's the 4k to go banner just ahead of them now. So on that flatter section, the pace skyrocketed once again, and no absolute control by any one team. Now, it was Ineos Grenadiers who took responsibility for a lot of the climb. Now it's a lot of one-out attacks, EF Education being particularly aggressive. What I noticed was Uno X following moves, but always then looking behind, trying to look further down the line to see if they can spot Magnus Cort.
Carapaz goes to the front just to try and keep things as challenging as possible. Derek G spots the danger and spots the intent and the ambition from the EF Education Easy Post squad. But does anyone else fancy an attack here? Matthew van der Poel backing a sprint a little bit. Filippo Ganna going to go for one here. Filippo Ganna around the outside, and that's a full-blooded attack. This is not just about trying to keep it as fast as possible. Attack by way of defence. And look at that. Cat among the pigeons as Tom Pidcock looks to respond. Filippo Ganna can generate enormous watts going downhill on a flat road. He's pretty good up a hill as well. What a great all-round rider. And the best time trialist in this race, potentially the best time trialist in the world. Well, he could go away on this descent.
And he is going away. Pidcock with the almost immediate reaction, but it gave Gunner about 25 metres, and he just could not close it, and he's moving away. And then there was that hesitation. Pidcock swung across, everybody else looked around and almost to look at each other and say, well, who is going to take up the chase? Who is going to do it? Juan Ayuso is going to have to do it himself by the looks of things.
Yeah, and I think that might have been Vocalan as well. Two good riders from the time trial who generate decent watts on a flat road in pursuit and flying in hot pursuit, you might say, on a very cold day of the man that is Top Ganna. And this would be a major ambush. And defending his blue jersey by going on the attack here. Everyone looking around. No one wants to cover this one. So it's going to take teammates. Do they have the teammates available? Israel Premier Tech squad trying to respond here. As a G around the outside, as now we're seeing for the first time the Uno X and teams and riders who were struggling and floundering a little bit on that climb now starting to put themselves into position at the front of what's a very, very small peloton. Do they have the numbers in there? Is this enough of a gap for Ghana?
Well, the gap was looking really good, but it's just come down, and it's now Uno X Mobility who have taken up the chase behind him. They're starting to make some inroads on that gap. He's been off the front now for about a kilometre or just over, and that's where it really starts to burn, especially at the end of a 240-kilometre day. Let's not forget the distance that's been covered. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, let's make it that for Gunner. But if there's hesitation behind, we know one thing, that Gunner and his ability as a time trialist will not fall still. And Matthew van der Poel says, well, this has got to be done. He does not want to hesitate anymore. Get Gunner inside the final kilometre with, yep, that is respect. Any sort of gap, and you won't catch him, but it's done. Van der Poel crosses the gap.
Well, Matthew van der Poel, among the favourites for stage honours here, has used up a little bit of his sprint in finishing off that little gap down and under the kite. 1,000 metres remaining, and who's going to try and put manners on this one and control it? A little bit of a late attack from the Bahrain Victoria's squad, as they've got numerous options. I wonder how Pascalon's feeling today, and Caruso and others also have enjoyed this race in the past. It's going to be EF Education Easy Post to try and cover it into the closing moments of this stage, as Tirreno-Adriatico plays host to Colfiorito for the first time of asking. It's a long, grinding way to the line from here as Healy makes his way through to the front. But while they're crowding around and waiting to try and ambush, as Aaron Boder puts himself into a very, very strong position indeed to launch in the Spanish national time trial champions jersey. Still Healy on the front, about to be swamped by the rest, and around the outside Tirreno-Adriatico looking to put their man Vandrame perhaps into position, going to the line, and who's going to be able to get up and over, and Pedcock is not going to get there in time. It's arms lifted aloft, and it's the Tirreno-Adriatico Le Mondial squad that are celebrating there. Wait for full confirmation of the finishing position. The average speed has risen a lot, and in that run to the line it was indeed Andrea Vandrame that's got up for a glorious success, a world tour level for the Tirreno-Adriatico Le Mondial rider. That's a massive one, and that's a beautifully timed effort, and what a fantastic and entertaining conclusion to a stage that was a bit of a slog for everyone. There are a few riders in that group that'll be overjoyed when they find out who got the win.